is October 9th, 2019. Hey, friends. Hello, Linda. Hey, Rosalie. All right, guys. Hey, Bruno and Virginia in the house. Hey, guys. All right, perfect. So 82, 83. Hit the record button. We are recording. I'll just wait for a few more of you to trickle in, and then we'll get going here, gang. We got some easy stuff to talk about too, so nothing too severe. So I'm going to run through some stuff, just points of clarification and stuff I think that you all need to know about, based on my notes as well as what Nazreen has been able to put together from the survey. So thank you to everybody who filled out the survey. It looks like we had 51% actually do the survey this month, so that was a big step in the right direction. We're getting better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go just through the list here. If you have questions about what I'm talking about, feel free to bring it up at the time. If you have a question that's about something I'm not talking about, then leave it till the end, because I want to make sure that we don't miss it, okay? So first things first. We had some interesting feedback come in through the survey. So I'm going to run through this just for everybody's information, kind of give you guys some perspective. And I think this is good for us to kind of review as a group of coaches. So the first question on here was, what do you think is the primary responsibility of a coach? The majority of people said leading by example, teaching, guiding, and supporting. Some said monitoring the Dream Team page and starting off the buyer strongly. Phrases that really stood out were to foster growth and to help realize the potential in their team and to act as a guardian for the community. That's great. Those are all, yes, those are all correct. Coaches, absolutely, 1000% should be leading by example, should be making sure that people start off as strongly as possible, and essentially are fostering the growth of the whole community. Second question was, what does leadership mean to you? The majority of people who responded said to lead by example and offer mentorship, motivation, guidance. Some did say to empower and provide integrity and someone who serves. Phrases that really stood out on this one were no one gets left behind, being vocal, delegating, offering constructive criticism, being courageous and positive, believing in people, being a visionary, knowing when to help and when to let go, commitment, and word. All great answers. That makes my heart happy to know those came through. Those are good. The key here is the leadership component of the coaches is critical, because it's the coaches that are literally the first person to start everybody off with. Hey, Irene. And it's so important that we all are taking the time and realizing we've got a vested interest in these people's success. The leaders are really leading people through the community and the system to success. So that's great. As a coach, do you feel like a leader? Ooh, interesting question, Nazreen. Keep in mind, it doesn't matter if you're a new coach or not, even mentors are leaders. 99% said yes. 1% said no. So if you answered no to this one, I want you to reach out to your upline and I want you to talk that through. You are all leaders. And if you don't feel like you're a leader in the community, then you might not realize all of your responsibility and what's expected of you. So we want to make sure you've got that kind of clarity. Fourth one, as a business owner, coach, how much of a team player would you say you are? I.e. welcoming new buyers into the Dream Team, doing go lives on the Dream Team, monitoring the Dream Team page, helping others in the Coaches Flock chat, helping at the training site, going on the webinar panel, back-end work, all that kind of stuff. These are meant as examples. If you had other suggestions, totally fine. 21% felt that you are super team players. 69% said semi-regular, and 10% said not much, quiet. Those of you that said 10%, you better damn well get your butts in gear and do something about it. What? 69% said semi-regular. Okay, good. You're plugged in. You got some work to do. You realize you're going to do some work. And so where are you going to find ways that you can actually contribute more? I say this all the time, guys. A community is a sum of its parts. Coaches are the leaders of this community. It's not the 6As. It's not the 6A 2-3s. The coaches are the people on the ground that are dealing with people first and foremost. You've all got your own coaching group, or at least you better. And if you aren't being a leader in those chat groups, then you need to give yourself a good hard slap and say, what the heck am I doing? This is like the minimum that I need to do as a coach, and I'm not even doing this. So play a role, find your voice. At the end of the day, you just by going through the coaching training and doing coaching calls, you've had access to more experience and knowledge that people in your downline don't have. So this is great. This hopefully gave you guys some perspective in terms of like what is expected and what you should be doing. This is great stuff, Nizreen. I'm glad you put this together. In what area would you like to see yourself improve as a coach? Or if you're new at coaching, what area would you like to really become skilled at? The majority said go lives, mostly because of nerves, it sounded like. Also better calls, dream team participation, motivating their team. These are great things to work on. And I think go lives are a great start. Maybe it's time for another Go Live challenge just amongst the coaches. Oh my gosh, you know what we could do, folks? Wouldn't this be cool if we did a Go Live challenge for the coaches to introduce themselves? After all, we are the leaders in the community. Maybe we should all hop into the group and say, hey, I want to introduce myself. My name's Mike Dreher. I've been a coach for about 3.5 years in this business. What I love most about doing this kind of thing is that I actually get to meet people who have no idea of the potential of what this can do for them and their family. And I get to light that little spark, and I get to fuel that fire within them, pull them through this process, make sure they've got everything they need, they get set up in the best way possible, and follow them on their success trail. That would be amazing. I'd love to see 300 coaches get in there and do that in this week. I think that would be really impactful. Ellie, I love it, girl. She's doing hers tomorrow. Beautiful. Let's do this, guys. This is a fantastic idea. Go Live challenge, and this will help us all get out of our shell because we've got a bunch of new coaches. This majority doing Go Lives that are nervous about it, that might just be new coaches, and that's totally fine. This is a new thing for all of us. I still feel weird about Go Lives. I mean, I'm standing here talking to a little green dot right now. I'll never get used to this. It's a weird business that we're in, so don't feel bad about that. Just push through it and realize that, you know, we're all just making the best of what we have to work with. So better calls comes with experience. If you're a new coach and you've never listened to somebody else's coaching call, reach out to the person who was your coach. Ask them if you can be a fly on the wall and listen to one of their calls, or do role playing. Or if there's somebody that really reach out to that, it comes time for you to do that kind of role playing as well. It's not that hard to get really good at calls when you just realize that you have the power. You are the person that is the expert on the line, and they're coming to you because they're looking for your assistance. Okay. Sue Frazier, there's a 21-day challenge on Facebook starting on Friday. If anyone wants to do that, our group is doing it. Oh, okay. 21-day challenge. What's the challenge for, Sue? Is it a Go Live challenge for 21 days? Do I have to do a Go Live every day for 21 days? I hope not. I did 2 rounds of Go Live trainings with Helen Martin. She is not a Dream Team member, but offers tons of free tips about Go Live. Oh, good feedback. Helena McInnes. Look at you and your fancy last name. Looks good on you, girl. All right, let's keep moving on. Oh, somebody else said, a few of the people actually said, time management, communication skills on calls with their team is also something that needs to be worked on. Others said being more present, visible in the coaches chat, the Dream Team page. These are all very good points. I'm glad to hear that you guys are thinking about this kind of stuff. Time management is interesting. I think there's a tendency for new coaches to come on. When you first set aside your availability on Acuity, I noticed a lot of people do this, where they just basically make it broad, wide open. And I get it. You know, you're a new coach. You feel like you've got lots of time, and there's no reason in the world why you can't do them after work, and do them in the evenings, do them in the mornings, squeeze them in whenever. You're just happy to take a call. But I think it's really important that all of us in this business understand just how important our time is. And sometimes I think we give it away too freely. And I think that it would be a good exercise for all of you to get into, deciding on the days and times that you want to do your coaching calls and committing to being available in those times, because then psychologically, those are kind of your office hours. And that means also then you're being more present and plugged in during those time slots, specifically in regards to coaching calls. That might really help. I think when you're just open and available 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, you're not in coach mode. You might be in snowboarding mode. You might be in pub mode. And if somebody randomly books a call with you within the next hour. You're going to be like, oh, okay, somehow I got to get into coach mode. So be mindful of how you can be as present as possible and really make sure that you're maximizing that 30, 45 minutes that you're doing those coaching calls for with people. Okay. Let's see, the last one on here. Oh, actually, that was the last one on the survey. So the rest is topics and stuff. So that's cool. So that was really good. Thank you, Nazarene. Those were really good things. I like it. Clearly, it got people thinking. So I hope that each of you, as you're reading those, really came up with some points that you can work on yourselves, and give yourself those kind of room to grow on. Fitting your lunch and dinner times into a coaching schedule. Yeah, good point, Helena. Make sure you're setting aside time for food and bathroom. You can't take it from the guy who's done it. You can't do 8 to 12 hours straight of coaching calls. So you need to book off time where you can just catch your breath, collect your thoughts. You know, you might not have people booking 12 back-to-back calls with you right now, but we all know that it's possible. And if it's possible for one person, it's absolutely possible for the rest of you. So need to make sure that you are setting up your schedule, your business, all of this with the expectation that it's going to explode. And with the knowing in your heart of hearts that it will explode for you. So if you do it that way, when it does, then you're ready for it. That's the thing. Let's see. Yeah, Nathan's just pointing out that there are 45-minute time slots. Maybe some of the coaches, the newer people, don't realize that. Some of you like to chat. And so there is the option, if you want, of booking in a 45-minute time slot for your coaching calls instead of 30 minutes. And it's not uncommon for new coaches to really struggle with getting all of that information addressed and dealt with in 30 minutes. So if you feel like you're struggling in the beginning, absolutely. We can set you up with 45 minutes. When you're getting your coaching funnel set up, Calm can take care of that for you. And then in the future, if you want to scale it back to 30 minutes, easy enough done. Yeah, we just flick a switch and it goes to 30 minutes. It's not going to cancel the 45-minute ones. You already have booked those. So you'll have to clear out the 45-minute ones and then just start booking new 30-minute ones. Okay. Sarah Lucier, 17 minutes. I believe you, girl. Okay, so let's see here. So we had some general topics that have been coming up in the conversation in the coaches chat. So some stuff we want to talk about. There's coaches who are approving people who are not their buyers. Please stop. You shouldn't be approving anybody that you don't know who they are. You can't expect that people in there that are either invited or who are trying to get in are actually even buyers. Because we have this happen all the time where some random buyer will come in today. Next thing you know, even though they came in through an ad and they've watched the coaching videos, they think that this business model is that they have to go invite every single friend they've got on Facebook. Suddenly we get this, and you've all seen this, we get this barrage of people being invited to the group, and everybody's like, who the heck is doing this? So you can't assume that they actually belong there. And if we are all only approving our own buyers, there's no problem. Because I know who my buyers are, and if I'm approving them, I don't have anything to worry about, right? So it's really important. And more eyes on it. That being said, also in the dream team, and I'm glad to hear that some of you flagged this as an area that you can use to become more plugged in with. So it's critical that all of the coaches are keeping an eye on the Facebook group. And I'm not obviously saying you got to do it 24/7, but we've all got one of these. And as a coach who is a leader in this community, who is a general on the field, you know you are responsible for keeping this community safe. So if you're standing at a bus stop, you got nothing else to do, you could easily scroll through Facebook group on your phone and just see what's going on in there. If you're sitting in front of a computer, check it out. You know, just start thinking about it. Like, ask yourself at the end of the day, oh, did I check out the Facebook group today? If all of us even just did it once a day, considering how many coaches there are, we're not going to have any problems because there's so many hands on deck. It's when we've only got one or two people actually doing this that it's a major problem and it's too much to take on. Yes, and Darren's just saying that make sure you're mentioning in your coaches group that if your downline finds something that they know is not right, that they're flagging it so that somebody can actually see it and remove it. That's really important. Kyra, what's that link you just shared on Loom? We all about a lot of people are asking to see what a 17-minute call does. Now, guys, I'm going to caution you about this. I know a lot of you look up to Sarah, and Sarah's very good at what she does, but that's because she's got background and history and experience with it. Those of you that are doing 45-minute calls, I don't want you to suddenly transition to a 17-minute call because it ain't going to work. You can't do it. You need to move through this process slowly. So absolutely great to see how other coaches are doing their stuff. Looky. But it's not great to try to suddenly cut your coaching call in half, right? So just be mindful of this. And don't feel bad if you're doing 45-minute calls either. You know, I think a 30-minute call is plenty, but don't feel bad if you're doing 45. There's nothing wrong with it. And Kyra's link that she just shared there is she made a video on how to control the coaching calendar features. Oh, good. Like a little training video about Acuity. Awesome. I think Acuity has some videos you guys can watch too, but Kyra's probably specifically in terms of how a coach would use it. So those of you that aren't too sure about Acuity and its features, that's a good link to click on. The Dream Team Hub. Yes, I brought this up on, I think it was the Mastermind last week, but we have over 4,000 people still in the main hub on the Dream Team Flock chat. All of those people better be in a coach's room. So there's no reason for them to be in the main hub. So can you also ask in your breakout groups on Flock to make sure that your people are leaving the Dream Team Hub? It's really not that complicated. You click on the top, there's a little arrow that says exit. Like, it's easy, and it's important because we still have newbies who go in there and they're asking questions and they're not getting added to their coaching groups fast enough. So just make sure you stay on your people. And for those, I see Garrett, he says they ask twice a week. Those of you that have been really on this and you think you might only have a couple stragglers, you probably have a good sneaky suspicion about the people who would be in that hub. So just go in there and scroll through the list. It's alphabetized. If you see them in the list, reach out to them and say, hey, get the heck out of the Flock chat. Not this one, the main hub, right? Andrea, can I just delete the people in my downline? No, you guys can't actually delete people from the hub. They have to actually delete themselves, but they have to leave. They can't delete. So send them a message. I think it'd be different if you sent them a direct message and say, hey, I see you're still in the main hub. But as you know, we have asked everybody to leave that. So we have lots of room in there for newbies to join still the community so they can get added when they get planted into Flock. But also, as you know, you should be asking your questions in this chat room anyway. So get out of that Flock chat so we can make more room. And if you ask them directly, hopefully they'll do it. Christian Carly, yeah, you can join the main hub again, I think. I don't know. I think you can. If you can't, let me know. But Kristen is just saying she left the Flock main hub and then became a coach. So as a coach now, if you go back in there, you should be able to see your downline. Some people, it seems, are still not too sure of using NAC in order to see the calls that they're getting paid out on. So there's training videos in the coach's training specifically that show you how to do this, guys. So make sure you're going in there and actually watching those videos. Because again, it's pretty straightforward stuff. Let's see. What's Ellie putting in here? If you can't get the leave email, if you can't get them to leave, email the list of names emails to flockoffice@gmail.com and I can remove them. Oh, Elizabeth. Be mindful. I'm saying this, all right. Be mindful, coaches, that it's not Elizabeth's job to remove your people from the Flock group. The reason why we have a growing list of coaches is because we have a growing community. We have two people who are literally the gatekeepers to the training and Flock and everything else. Two people. Think of this. You know how many buyers are coming through the pipes every day? We get 100 to 200 people every day. There's two people that unlock the training for all of those people. So they're busy. They don't have time to go through. And Elizabeth, I'm talking to you right now. You don't have time to go through this whole bloody list of people and remove these people. So be mindful. Australian stacking. There is a new chat group on Flock, and I think it's called Calling Australia. Mm, and this is where you're discussing all things Australian stacking. The Australian office has obviously changed the stacking rules. You're only allowed one Ukon per account now. It just means that things are different. I'll be honest. I think, honestly, it really ain't the end of the world. I've had a few coaching calls in Australia with people already, and what I've said on the coaching call is exactly what I walked people through. I said, all right, you watched that video about the trifecta, right? They say, yes. And I'm like, well, I got some interesting news for you. Things have slightly changed in Australia, and now you've got kind of a unique opportunity here. You can either come in with a less expensive buy-in. So instead of doing a trifecta, you can come in with a K8 and a Ukon, and you can start that way, but you're not going to be quite a 2A distributor. If you want to really get aggressive in this business and make things happen faster, here's an interesting opportunity. So once we get you signed up with your account numbers, then here's what we'll do. We'll get your spouse signed up right below you. And you know what this does? Not only does it qualify you as a 2A distributor, but it also means that you're stacking right down to that -3 level that I also talked about in those coaching videos right from day one. And so what I'm presenting here is a less expensive strategy as well as a more aggressive strategy. So they actually get two choices now. And if you frame it that way, it's honestly not the end of the world. And let's be real. Like, is it going to kill anybody if they can't stack? No. Anybody who's in this business and thriving, you know that the key to this is getting people below you. And so if you can't do it with a spouse, then, also find somebody you can work with. Might be a friend, might be a business partner, all sorts of stuff. So keep that in mind. That coaching call for me did go really well. But, I think part of the point of this chat role that Nazreen has mentioned here is also just that inevitably there might be new options come available. And as we all know, when you call a Nagic, you tend to get different versions of the story. So I think it would be very valuable to be in that chat just to see as this develops, if it does change or if we get different stories, because you never know. Let's see here. Yeah, Nazreen, not everyone has a spouse. You're absolutely right, but they probably have somebody they can work with. And if they don't, then here's what I would do, guys. I'd come in, if it was just me and I was in Australia, and I'd buy a machine, I'd buy my Ukon, I'd start building my business. I'd do exactly the same thing because I have no choice, right? I'm going to put everybody under my Ukon, go as low as I can. And then as soon as I find somebody that I think is worth working with, guess what? I'm going to start putting the deals onto them, and I'm going to work out some sort of agreement where we're sharing commissions or something like that, because guaranteed that person gets the business because they've already bought into it, right? So if I found somebody that was like that, I'd work with them. And you know what? If things go sideways, what's the worst that could possibly happen? You just stop putting deals under them, and they keep growing their business without you. Honestly, I don't think that this is as bad as people are really thinking. There's countries out there that don't even offer Ukon. And I'll be honest, I've had a lot of those moments in my life in the last 3.5 years where I'm like, boy, do I regret using the same model as everybody else, where we had a trifecta which included the Ukon. Because just imagine how much easier our lives would have been if we just said that a trifecta was a K8 and a Nespa and another kitchen machine. If you don't have another kitchen, put it in your laundry room, put it in your cabin, give it to your friends, give it to your folks. I don't care. Buy 3 products. And if that was the way it was, it would be super easy. Somebody asked me about this the other day. They said, well, I think it was India, because India doesn't have Ukon. What do we do if we can't sell Ukon? I said, well, this is what you do. You don't sell Ukon. You sell machines. Which is also, by the way, the #2 country in the world, India, in terms of sales. Think about that, guys. No Ukon being sold in India. They're #2. And it's also a very young market. Nagic's been out there for, what, 1.5 years now, I think? Think of that. And they're already #2 in the world. And it's all machines. You know what happens when you only sell machines and not Ukon? All of your people are permanent distributors. All of your people are making maximum commissions, because Ukon pays the least of the commissions on any of it, right? So it's something to think about. I mean, it is what it is really what it boils down to, right? What is the point of doing the quad fect on day one instead of at 4A? Because, so what Glenn is asking is if I come in and then I put my spouse below it, so I get 2, my spouse gets 2. From day one, you're just building right from day one. That's the only advantage. You could absolutely wait till 4A, and it wouldn't be the end of the world to do it. Absolutely. And I told my person that I was doing the coaching call with as well, the same thing. You don't have to do it day one. You can absolutely do it when you can afford it. You can do it when you think your business is taken off. You can do it at 4A. You can do it at 3A. I think the key with this strategy is just making sure that people are knowing that they have options. Even here, if I'm completely by myself and doing this on my own, I'm still, at worst case scenario, building 2 levels at once. And it's okay. For those of you though that do stack at 4A, just make sure you do it properly, because if you stack down at the 4A level in that bottom account, you're going to cut out the top account. And I really got to caution you guys about this. So if you don't stack with you and your spouse right from day one, and you wait till this top account is at 4A, and then you put the spouse in, this spouse cannot be sponsored in the 4A leg here, okay? Otherwise, when these sales keep coming up, this gets cut out, and guess what? This top account isn't getting the points. So just make sure you're stacking properly. You got to pull back. You got to sponsor that in maximum the 2A leg. Even though that bottom account is a 4A, you'd have to stack in maximum the 2A just to make sure those points all pass up, okay? I think that answers all of your questions here about that so far. Cool. Okay, good. Moving on. Some of you, oh my gosh, I was talking to the Fennings yesterday on the webinar before they went live, and they told me that they have got deals in the Enagic office that are 3 weeks to get processed right now. Folks, please, all of you listening right now, if you have got an order taking longer than a week at any Enagic office anywhere in the world, you need to get on that phone and call them every day and push them hard, because that is absolutely unacceptable. And if you are not getting feedback, you're not getting help, then ask for the manager. In Canada, I can tell you right now, the manager in Western office is Mei Fu. She's awesome. And she probably is unaware of the fact that those orders are taking that long. She would, because I know Mei, she would literally stay up at night and process those orders. The Toronto office, unfortunately, doesn't have as good of a manager. I can't remember what his name is because he's that forgettable. But at the end of the day, I can also tell you that the GM of Canada is a gentleman named Gotaro, and he will also jump in if we know that it's taking that long. So all of you that are saying it's taking me 2 weeks, it's taking me 3 weeks, you need to be doing this, guys. Get on the phone and call. That's crazy. So if you're not getting results by speaking to the staff, then email the managers, call the managers, all right? Critical. We can't have people waiting 3 weeks because you'll lose the deal. The other thing is next year, you've all gotten the notice about the big Enagic convention. It's being held in Las Vegas. It's being held in September, I think. And Las Vegas is a really easy city to do a convention in because it can hold massive numbers. They're expecting that they're going to have about 6,000 distributors come out to this convention in Vegas. So what we're going to do next year, and most of you know this, but I want to make sure everybody is still aware of it for the newbies, we're holding the Dream Team Mastermind in the days leading up to the convention. So everybody should be booking their Las Vegas convention tickets so that you can get them at a cheaper price. For sure, you're going to go. The convention is open to any distributor. Doesn't matter if you're a 6A or what. Anybody who is an Enagic distributor can get those tickets. And then don't book your flights or anything else yet, okay? Because we need to get a sense of how many people are going to go, because we could possibly have, we could have 1,000 people of our own coming to this mastermind, because this next mastermind, I want to open it up to all Enagic distributors who are in the Dream Team. I want to have a few days where we get together and talk business, and I want to have stuff that's relevant to anybody. I want to have specific content geared towards coaches, specific content geared towards 6As. I want this thing to be absolutely epic. And if we can get it big enough, I am happy to even bring in professional speakers, and we can really make this something absolutely amazing. Even when we were in Kananaskis here, we were bouncing around ideas already about some people who'd be great on stage. This could be the momentum that really lights the fire for people. And the beautiful thing about about Las Vegas is it's cheap to get to. It's one of the cheapest airports in the world to fly in and out of. You can get accommodation there that is literally $20 up to $2,000 a night. So it's an easy city to have this kind of event in. So can you please make sure that you share that email that Enagic sent us all in your coaching groups so that people know that it's open to everybody and that we are having our own event in the days leading up to it. And just tell them, make sure at this point right now, just get your tickets because you can get them cheaper right now. In the coming months, we're going to be giving you information about the mastermind that the Dream Team is having exclusively before the event. And it's going to be like, I'm kind of thinking in the back of my mind, it'll be the 3 days before the events. But if we have a ton of speakers and a ton of interest and a ton of content, maybe it'll be 4 days. I mean, I don't want to make it crazy long because I don't want people to have to be in Las Vegas for a week. Because if you're in Vegas for a week, it tends to age you about 3 years in my experience. So just tell people for now to get their tickets. Okay. Jesse's wondering, will there still be a coaches mastermind? This is going to take the place of the coach mastermind that we had in Vegas next year, all right? Or in mastermind, Mexico. So instead of going to Mexico for a coaches mastermind, we're just going to have a coaches session at the mastermind, okay? So this way, you don't all have to go to all these different countries and stuff, right? Just make sure it's easy. Am I bringing my 13-year-old? Kid-friendly, please. Tina, great question. Las Vegas went through this really awkward phase of trying to be a family destination. So there's lots of hotels that are kid-friendly. It's Vegas. So I would leave that with all of you as parents, is what do you do with your children in Las Vegas? But you can absolutely bring your kids. And I know if you get your tickets right now, the first, I think, 1,000 people, 500 people who get their tickets actually get free Cirque du Soleil show tickets. So is it the first 1,000? Yeah, first 1,000 people. So great stuff to do with kids. My gosh, and Circus is still very kid friendly. So lots of options, tons of options. Can our downline just get tickets on the Enagic site? In that email, there's a link that they have to click on that goes to, it's probably on the Enagic site and is, but being Enagic, it's probably buried. I don't think you can actually find it if you go to the homepage. Maybe you can, I'm not sure, I haven't checked, but I know for sure there's a link in that document that they sent us. So if you drop that PDF in your chat groups, it's a nice visual. It has all the prices and everything on there in the link. So all the information's in one place. And then if people have questions about it, you can just answer it all at once in there. Okay. Type in Vegas on Groupon. There's literally tons of hotels. Yeah, great point, Nathan. You can, honestly, guys, you can stay in Vegas for next to nothing. It's so cheap. And yes, the Golden Nugget has been renovated and does have a shark tank water slide. Okay, so that is that. Oh, this is one from the Coaches Council. Can you guys please let your people know in your coaches chat again? Oh my gosh, yes, Lilibeth, that would be so cool. Can you please let your people know in your coaches chat what the Coaches Council actually deals with? And if there is a complaint, that they've got to provide proof. We are getting a barrage of emails from people saying, I think this has happened. I don't want to call attention to anybody and I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but can you please address this issue? And then nothing attached to it. So what are we supposed to do with that? It literally, all it does is it just fills up our inbox. So number one, they've got to have proof. Number two, there's only 3 issues actually that the Coaches Council should be dealing with, and it specifically lays them out on that bloody form. So can you please just ask everybody to be respectful of the council's time, because it's becoming a part-time job just to delete emails because there's so many. So be mindful of that. And also, as coaches, I want to bring this up because one of the most common things that we get complaints about is you missing your calls. and I get it. I mean, God knows I've missed coaching calls myself. But the simple thing here is that if you know you've missed a call, rebook it. Like, just reach out to the person and say, shoot, I'm sorry, I screwed up. Something came up. Totally lost you on my calendar. Here's a link. Can you please find another slot that that you can fit into? If you can't find one, let me know. I will free up some other time to make it work because I feel terrible. And that is all you need to do. It goes a long ways. And as you're sending that email, make sure you're CCing the person that owns that buyer, your mentee, because then they're in the loop, right? Because they've gone to a lot of time, effort, and money to bring in that buyer. They want to make sure that it's looked after, right? So this, believe me, will save you all and us a lot of headaches, because at the end of the day, all you really need to do is just make people know that their time is as valuable as yours and you respect them. Okay. Let's see. That is that. GST in Canada. I saw this being talked about in the group this afternoon. It always amazes me how I can do masterminds on stuff and people act like they haven't had it addressed on a mastermind. So those of you that are giving advice about GST, you're actually saying the wrong things today in the chat. So stop. Here's the simple fact, folks. Enagic has been told specifically by the CRA that its distributors in Canada earning over $30,000 are responsible for having a GST number and submitting GST. Simple. Here's the follow-up to that. All Canadian distributors have signed an NSM form where you have told the CRA who you are, your social insurance number, and that you are earning over $30,000 in commissions. So those of you that haven't had the CRA come to you and ask for their GST, it's just a matter of time until it happens. Now, if it ever happens, but at the end of the day, those of you that are saying that it's not going to happen are putting somebody else in a situation that honestly you shouldn't be doing. Because if I'm a distributor and I'm not getting a GST number and I'm not collecting GST and providing it and dealing with this whole thing with Enagic and the CRA, I'm making that choice as a distributor. It's my business. I'm making that choice. You don't make that for somebody else. We have been told in very clear, explicit language, this is what is supposed to be done. So if somebody's choosing not to do it that way, that's on them. Okay? Leave it at that, guys. Please, please leave it at that. Replay videos. Numbers are back up, so that's great. The buyers came down a little bit, probably because of technical things we're dealing with. We're still dealing with emails and autoresponders and reminders and everything getting out and on time. Webinar guys, we had an amazing webinar last night. We got a good solid replay. Now what they're working on is actually the deliverability. So they're getting us a dedicated IP so that those email reminders are even going to inbox that much better. So there's tons of little tweaking and things we're doing on the back end that's going to help ramp up those numbers even more so. Something else we did is if you get brought to the page that the webinar's already started, or if they're having technical issues, they get the link also to watch the workshop replay. So that helped a lot. The next thing, and it might have already taken place today, is that they are going to, if the webinar is over, they're going to just get directed automatically to workshopreplay.com. So that'll be super cool. And then super amazing news, as of today, I think we have the patch in place so that people can watch the webinar on iPhones. This was something that had to be built into it. Apple loves their proprietary coding. So it's in there. We're going to see on the webinar, on the mastermind tonight. Inevitably, somebody will be trying to log in from the team on an iPhone. So it'll be a good test tonight to see if it works, so they can do some tweaking if they need to on their side for tomorrow night. Okay. For those of you that are driving Agnes crazy about the replay videos, I'm going to say this again. I've said this a few times, guys. It really doesn't matter if you have a replay on your funnel where the video says that the price is $99. They click on the link to buy now. They go to a page that says it's $149. All that's happened there is the replay they've watched, which they are well aware of the fact is an old webinar because it's the definition of a replay. The price has gone up since that was recorded. That's all that's happened. It's only gone up $50. I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's not like I've rolled in a policy where people are paying $1,000 a month around here or anything. We're charging them a measly $50 extra. And in exchange for that, they get all of this added value that they're still getting in all of these new systems. Like, it doesn't matter what your replay is. Now, I'm going to qualify that. If you haven't been on a webinar for about a year and we're still using an old, outdated replay in your funnel, then you should probably come on again. And if you don't want to come on again for whatever reason, if life's come up and you got a big pimple on your nose or something, then simple thing to do is just submit a funnel update form and ask the funnel team to swap out the existing video that's there, the replay video, with the coding to pull in the most recent replay. Now, obviously, you won't be on it, but it'll be the most recent replay. And that'll also solve the problem of the $149.99 thing for those of you that are still panicking about it. Okay. So that is that. Logo design contest. We're getting tons of people submitting applications for the logos, which is great. A lot of people are doing a really strange thing, though, and I don't understand how they're doing this, but somehow when people are filling out the form, instead of uploading the artwork that they're submitting, they're uploading anything and everything. I mean, you would be shocked as what I've gotten as an attachment on this form. They're clicking on the wrong document in their desktop probably, and they're uploading that. I mean, I've seen people's bank statements. I've seen family pictures. I've seen stuff I probably shouldn't mention. Just make sure you're uploading the logo, just the logo. That's all I want to see. So maybe worth mentioning in the chat rooms, again, if you've got somebody who has submitted artwork, just make sure that they've submitted the logo. Now, they all get a confirmation email when they submit the form. So I've got to think that if they've looked at the confirmation email, they will see the photo that they've attached, and they'll know that it's probably not the right one. Okay. So that's that. The other thing I want to make sure I mention is Nizreen asked me to mention that Jacob is willing to help people out with team videos. So those of you that, and there's a bunch of the teams that are putting together testimonial videos and stuff just for their teams, and some of them are really great and some of them are not good. So if your team wants to put together kind of a team testimonial kind of compilation video, then Jacob can help you out. He's really good with this kind of stuff. He's really creative, and they've got a system that they've put in place to really make sure it flows as good as possible. And the way he's going to charge is basically it's just $10 for each video clip. All right. So Nizreen, can you put in here how you want these guys to reach out to Jacob? Is it by email? Is it on Flock? What should we do? And that way, those of you that don't have somebody on your team that can help you out with that, then he can help you out too. So please don't message him. Nizreen. Okay, so how do you want them to message? How do you want them to reach out to Jacob, Nizreen? Are you gonna do it by email, or what's your preference? Can I pop on and explain? Maybe. I don't know. Let me see. If I can find you in this list, I think I can pop you on here. Let's see. This is why I stopped using Easy Webinar. Here you are. Make a presenter. All right, we're doing this. Okay. So Nizreen, I think I sent you a magic button. Yeah, looks like it should be on your side. Boom. There we go. Excellent.
Hello.
I can hear you.
On yet? Hold on. Okay. There we go. Okay.
There we go.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm so disheveled. It's such a crazy day today. So it just, because it's a little bit, it's not complicated, but I just want, Jacob and I spoke about this, and there's a lot of you, a lot of us, right? 243 coaches. So the last thing that I want is 243 messages of just bombarding him, right? He's really, really talented at making videos. And because he's still a lower rank, he's not that busy, right? At the same time, I don't want my mentee being bombarded with messages. So this is kind of how we've figured it out so far. And I'm open mic to suggestions on kind of tweaking this, kind of expediting of it. If you, as a coach, if you present this idea, if you want to do a personalized team video for your team, for your own coach's team or whatever, your own downline in your Flock chat, present the idea in your chat, get people to kind of sign up for it or whatever, make a log of the people, like just keep track of who says yes, And then because as far as we're aware, Flock doesn't allow uploading clips, we've thought, well, okay, then the coach can, and if there's an easier way, let me know. But then the coach can create a temporary chat in Messenger on Facebook in Messenger. Add those people only, not your entire team, but just the people that have said yes to the chat. Get them to upload their clip there. And only when they've uploaded their clips, then you can add Jacob to that chat. Don't go and add him to a bunch, like, because he doesn't want to be added to a bunch of chats and then have the coaches not do their preparation work. Get your teams assembled, get their clips in there, maybe about 20 seconds up to 30 seconds of them just saying something that they love about the business, introducing themselves, saying, hi, my name is so-and-so. Hi, my name is Nisreen. I'm a digital business owner, or hi, my name is Nisreen and I'm my own boss online, or something like that, leaving the flag words out, something that he can work with. And every clip that is added into the team video that makes it in there will be subjected to a $10 Canadian fee for him for his time. He thinks about maybe 4 or 5 days or so that he can kind of put this together, because he'll make it look good, right? And then it'll just be first come, first serve. Does that make sense? Yeah. Do you think that there's an easier way? Because that's the only way that we could think of.
I see in here somebody mentioned Dropbox. Dropbox is an easy one to get the files back and forth. The only thing is, the good thing about Messenger is it's easy to chat, right? It's easy,
Yeah.
if something's not quite right, he can specifically say what he needs tweaked or
Exactly.
something.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking too.
I mean, we could create a form that people could upload the videos on, but I think the advantage you're going to have with Messenger is that not everybody's going to be as prepared as others. And so
Yeah.
if it's not right, he can just deal with the issue.
Right. He can even leave the chat and just say, okay, well, happy to help. But if you
Mhm.
only have like 2 or 3 people, let's wait until you assemble a few more.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I was going to say is, based on a part of the topic for tonight's mastermind, people can have added value on how to make a good video, right? So please, after this mastermind is over, please don't message your teams right away, because I know Kyra and I are going to go over a few little tips and stuff about how to actually make a decent little video. Nothing like fancy or whatever, but just decent. And then that'll give them a chance to see the mastermind tonight, and then you can message them afterwards. I think that's probably best.
So maybe what I should do is I should include Jacob's Facebook link under the underneath this replay.
His link.
You
You mean on Facebook? You mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And remember, it's just going to be coaches that are adding him, right? Not a bunch of other people.
Yeah. So the workflow here, coaches, is if you talk to your teams, ask them if they want a team testimonial video because there's somebody in the community that's helping out. Tell them it's going to cost you each $10 to submit your video. Are we interested? And if your team says yes, then tell them to start making their videos. And then at that point, you can reach out to Jacob yourself, make sure he's available. And if he says yes, then set up the chat. Sound good?
Yeah,
Awesome.
basically. And anything that's a little bit kind of that, whatever. We're going to see how it works, and he'll kind of help orchestrate. If there's 3 people ahead of you, then he'll obviously keep track of that, but he's going to be committed to getting it done. And it's $10 per clip that will be in the video. And the nice thing about this is that when you have new team members coming later, just as we've always done before, they can use that video, right? And also just do their own little blurb at the beginning, and they can then get it added, right? So
yeah,
that's
awesome.
it.
Perfect. Oh,
Okay.
and payment. How do we forward payment?
Oh, it'll be through PayPal, because I think he's got a PayPal link. So
okay, so you can just drop his PayPal link in the chats once
exactly.
That's ready.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and is it $10 US? I'm assuming.
I think. Well, I thought $10 Canadian would be, I don't know, more fair. No, I don't know.
I don't know.
I thought we said $10. He's in Canada. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Now, get off now.
To those of you that didn't hear Nisreen say what's going on in the mastermind tonight, please, 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 folks, mention this also in your chat group. This is the last thing I'll ask you to mention today. Nisreen and Kyra, you all know, are probably the only 2 people in the entire community that are actually professional people who work on camera. So they've put together a presentation tonight where they're going to actually give us some tips on how to be more effective at presenting on camera. So it's not one to miss because it's something that everybody could use a few tips on, myself included. So I think it's going to be amazing. And it's definitely worth attending. We've boosted up the chat roll and everything tonight, so we've got lots of space for everybody to come on and attend. It should be awesome. So we're kind of winding up to the top of the hour here, guys. If you have other questions that you want to throw at me while we're here, then let's talk about it. Michelle, Michelin, you mentioned India being the second in the world for sales. Is there any type of specialized financing there? Nope. Isn't that amazing? So in a country where there's no financing and no Wukong, they're number 2 in the world. Amazing, amazing. Other questions? Do you guys have anything you want to bring up? No? Okay, cool. Don't forget, folks, the mastermind tonight is at 5 o'clock PST time, so it's in 2 hours. I'm thinking about where I am. Oh, yeah, Nikki, you had a question about 3 Wukons. Enagic won't let you do a trifecta with 3 Wukons. In fact, more than, again, depends on who you're talking to, but most often the case, they won't let you buy 2 Wukons in the same quarter. So if you're doing a trifecta, it pretty much, the cheapest thing you could possibly do would be a machine, a Sigma, and a DD. That's the cheapest way to do it if you're looking for options. That's it. That's just that's the easiest way to do it. I hate answering these questions because here's the thing: if somebody's going to come in with, if somebody's already asking you what's the cheapest way I can buy into this business, the conversation started off on a horrible foot, and I would push them back on that and say, why are you asking? Now, if you're talking to somebody who is actually in a financial position where that is all they can afford and they really do want to start off in the trifecta as a 2A, okay, fair. But just make sure it's not one of these people that just is like coming into this thing and they've got the means and ability to do it, but they're just like, I don't know if I even believe this is going to work. Like, that's just BS. If you're going to do this properly. And those of you that do listen to Sarah's coaching calls, you'll see she does this. She calls people out on it. One of the first things she says is, how much are you making right now? How much do you want to make in this business? And she starts people actually writing down numbers, and she fields exactly what is possible and how much they're willing to put in order to get what they want. Because I think sometimes people, and you see this in your coaching surveys all the time, people will say, oh, I want to make $30,000 a month. What's your ad budget? $200. Great. Why don't I introduce you to Santa Claus at the same time? Because it's about as likely, right? So, it's important to push back on these kinds of things. And that's kind of why I was giving you a hard time in the chat roll there, Nikki. You don't really have this problem. I should call you K8 Queen, I think, at this point. So I was kind of surprised you were the one bringing it up. But maybe your quality's fallen through the floor. Any other questions here, guys? Oh gosh! All right, Com is going into the Enagic Chicago office this week. I don't know anything, but if you're near the Enagic office, it doesn't hurt to bring a small token of your appreciation. That's actually a really good point. This is a good point. We are working with a traditional Japanese company that has a very traditional kind of corporate culture. Most of the people who work in the offices are, in Vancouver, I'll tell you for sure, Asian. I've heard from the other offices that a lot of them are as well. And I know that expressing gratitude and respect it goes a long ways. And the more that you do that, and just to make sure that these people understand that you appreciate them, even when you don't, in some cases, it does help. Vancouver, prime example. If they are actually sitting on orders for 3 weeks, we have 2 options. We can call them up and say, what the hell is going on over there? Or number 2 is we can call them up and say, you guys must be so swamped over there. Man, I've got people that are waiting 3 weeks for orders right now. Are you aware of that, May? Man, like, is there something we should be doing? Like, can we send our orders to another office to help you out? Like, how can I help? And obviously they're not going to let you do that, but at least you're approaching it in a different way and you're trying to be constructive, even though you're not giving them any remote possibility of a solution, because ultimately we can't do anything. They have to be the ones to fix it. But at least now they know that there's a problem, right? So just keep that in mind. The more you deal with Enagic, it's all about relationships and it's about showing respect. It's critical. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of people are saying they bring gifts into Enagic. Terry, do I need an RBC USA account prior to linking my Canadian PayPal? No. No, you don't. It can go in any account that you want. As a new coach, I will be creating my own Flock chat group. Just curious how my direct team needs. Just curious how my direct team needs. Laura, what do you mean by that? Can you explain that a bit more? Sue, yes, Taryn. Amazing how it changes so many. Yeah. How many chats does my direct team need to be in? Oh, as many as they want. That's an interesting question. At a minimum, they have to be in your coaching chat. By default, they'll be also in the buyer chat. And it could stop there. But there's some amazing other chat groups on there that they might want to be part of. So they could be part of the in-betweeners chat, the 50+ chat, I think there's a 20s chat, something like that, 20-year-olds chat. Obviously, there's community ones. I think, especially for the new people, if there's a location-based chat that they can join, it'd be great because the more that they can plug into people, the better. Let's see. Somebody asked me another RBC question I think I saw in here. Let me scroll up here. To any bank mic, or does it have to be RSB? No, it doesn't have to be RBC at all, Denise. That's an interesting question, though. Why are you asking that? Is there something in there that makes you think it has to be RBC in the training? Because it absolutely doesn't. It can be any bank. Wine chat, also a very good chat. Yes, good point, Garrett. Let's see. Kristen Carley, I had to step away when you were all discussing team videos by Jacob. I just got his $10 a clip. Where do we send the money? So when the coach creates the group, Jacob will drop in the PayPal link, and that's how you can pay him. Can I have other people not in my downline in my coach's chat if they ask? Or is it rude to say no? I think it's very fair to say no. Because at the end of the day, they've got their own coach. And if they've got a bad coach, then that doesn't have a coaching chat, then I'm hoping that will trigger them to go to the coaches council and file an issue saying, I don't actually have a coaching chat to be part of because my coach is too lazy to actually create a Flock chat. And then rest assured, I will reach out to that coach. But it's not fair for people to go and get added to other coachings. I'm sitting here beside Paul and Elena and Chris and Karen. Everybody wants to be in their chat because probably it's a riot, right? But we can't have, we would be in the exact same situation as we are with the main hub. Each chat can only have 5,000 people. So that was the whole idea behind breaking this into smaller bite-sized pieces. Everybody gets looked after. Everybody gets that kind of one-on-one connection, and they're not lost in the shuffle. So hopefully that helps. Who approves them to be in the chat? You, as the coach, as the creator of your chat group, you actually approve them into your chat, unless you've made your chat public, and then anybody can join it. So that's just in your Flock settings. Just click on the little cog on your chat room. I have some info coming regarding willing your line to someone in case of death. Oh, okay, great. So Rick, once you get that, just pass that over and I can add that to the training site. In the training, it talks about US RBC, Crystal says. Interesting. Okay. Crystal, if you can send me where you see that, I will change that. The flow and details of the team video I will post in coach's chat. Okay. Don't overflock yourself. Yes, good advice. There are Vietnamese and Japanese in Germany as well. Yeah, looks good. I was actually told by PayPal that even though you link to USA account, you are in Canada, it will still transfer to Canadian funds when you transfer it. Yes, that's my understanding too, Melissa. There is a DTRV Gypsies also. I'm not surprised. Why not? God, yes, why not? Never dealt with it. Training says link to Canadian. Okay, yeah. So anybody that finds this training thing that says RBC, just shoot it over to me and we can fix it. I can't do it with my credit union. I would ask your credit union why you can't transfer from PayPal. That's weird. RBC is apparently the only Canadian bank that will open you up a USD, but you don't need, maybe this is where you guys are going wrong. You don't need actually a USA bank account. Like they'll transfer it into Canadian dollars as well. PayPal says that you need a USA transit number, an example of RBC. So I don't have a USA transit number. I'll give you an example. And I'm the one paying you guys. To avoid conversion to Canadian, you need to set up your PayPal wallet in USD. Yeah, that is true. So if you don't want to pay for the conversion, then that's how you get around it. But it will just convert it into as well. Deborah's using CIBC and it works. Let's see. I have a US account. Keep it in US. Yeah. Well, and I can't blame you guys. You should keep it in US. God knows, especially if you're Canadian right now. TD works. CIBC works. Perfect. Good. All right, guys. ATB works. Change banks. I have a friend that's created an app for those interested in wine. It's a useful app. Is that cross-promoting? Interesting question, Coral. Well, I guess, if you shared it in the wine lovers chat and it's a free app, then it's definitely not cross-promoting. But if it's a paid app, then you might have an issue. FanCity also works. BMO works. PayPal has the last coaching payment as pending. Been like this for 2 days. Never had this before. I'd reach out to PayPal, Carlene. I notice every now and again people do bring this question up. It's not consistent across the board for sure. So it's something on your side. It's either your PayPal account or it might be just a PayPal issue that they're working through or your bank. But definitely start with PayPal because they're the one that says it's pending, okay? Cool. Any other questions, guys? Coaches, chat should be inclusive language as well, considering that we got team members from all over the world now. So members don't feel isolated when they're speaking a different language. Yeah, but no, this has to be in English, guys. Has to be in English. Coaches chat cannot start going into every language under the sun because the reality is English is the language of business. And as a guy who did corporate international sales, I will tell you that that's the way it is. And I need to know that what's being said in that coaches chat is actually accurate. So you got to stick with English, please, guys. Maybe that's what you mean. Maybe you found somebody that wasn't speaking English, but please, everybody, if you're not speaking English in that chat, use English. You don't want me giving you advice, especially business advice in Spanish, because it will not be good. And I can guarantee that any other language would even be worse. So got to stick with English. Good question. Top of the hour. This is my first month to receive a coaching call payment. I'm so excited. May I know when the pay date is, please? When we get around to it, basically, ciao. Good question. Andrea does payroll for me. She starts with the funnel builders and all of the people who are working for the system first, and then coaches are third to get paid out. I know she's been working on it for the last day or so. So if you haven't gotten it, then you should get it the next day or two. Generally speaking, we always try to get it out the first week of the month, but as we get more and more coaches, it becomes bigger. So cool. Good questions, guys. Don't forget, Mastermind is at 5 o'clock PST time. Okay. So please make sure that everybody in your coaches chat knows that. Very, very important. Somebody's got a question. Laura Monroe is wondering if her downline needs to remain in her upline coaches chat even after she creates her coaching chat. No. Here's the best thing I think you guys should do. So, and I'll use this as an example. Paulo, my downline, just became a coach. So Paulo is moving his downline into his own coaching chat, and they're leaving my chat. And Paulo will stay in my chat so that he's plugged into me as his mentor. So if I have information that I need to pass on to my direct downline, he's still got it. Easy, right? I would do that, guys. Make it as easy on yourselves as possible. Okay, awesome. Thank you to everybody who came on. I want to keep these tight so that people don't avoid them because they think I'm rambling. So I'm going to keep these to about an hour every time I can, so people know that they can schedule around it. So thank you to everybody who came on. As soon as I get the replay, I'll make sure we get it in the training site, and we'll see you on the next mastermind in a couple hours. Good night, everybody.